And other roles I hear that you turned down. Like, did you ever meet with Stanley Kubrick on Full Metal Jacket?
I did, man.
You met with Stanley Kubrick?
No, I didn't meet with him, but I had a couple calls with him. It's an interesting story. So I'm doing Weird Science, and I get a call from my agent, a gentleman named Marty Bauer. It's a great guy. Marty started the Bauer Benedict Agency, which became another big agency, I think UTA, right? So as a kid, he represented me. He was like family. I love Marty. So he calls me like on a Wednesday. He says, Stanley Kubrick is interested in you in this for a role in this Vietnam biopic he's doing. And I was like, holy shit. Because even at 17, I'd seen The Shining and all these great movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I get a call Friday, 2 days later. He goes, well, he's actually wants you for the lead, and he wants to call you tomorrow. Mic drop, right? I'm like, holy shit. Stanley Kubrick's going to call me. It's like waiting for the Wizard of Oz, right? So the next morning, the phone rings. And I'm like up at pace. I'm at the Sheridan premiere up by the Universal City, and I'm up like pacing. Like I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I'm going to talk to
How old are you?
I'm 18. The phone rings. Michael, Stanley Kubrick. I was like, dude, and then this is what he said to me. He paid me the greatest compliment I've ever had. He goes, I just finished screening 16 Candles. I watched it 3 times. I couldn't believe it. I was just sitting here. And he goes, you're my favorite actor since I saw Jack and Easy Rider. I was like, dude, I'm a kid. Yeah, no, exactly. He said that to me. So that it was amazing. It was astonishing, Michael. It was. And then even more, beyond that wonderful compliment, he wound up talking about his favorite filmmakers. He started talking about Eisenstein, the great Russian director, and Chaplin. And dude, I'm like...
And you're just sitting there listening.
I'm standing there in the Sheridan premiere, like looking over the valley, like in my window. And I was just bugging out. It was incredible. So what happened was it became literally like an 8 or 9 month negotiation. And
holy shit.
Yeah. And it was, I could say in hindsight, it was about money, but it wasn't. It was just a crazy drawn out thing. He was incredibly private. I had to go to his attorney's house in Beverly Hills and read a numbered script. I mean, literally, dude, it was like this.
Wow.
And, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And that's another great film of his. So, I mean, I wouldn't have any regrets in my life. I don't. But in terms of a creative thing, that's probably the closest thing that it just breaks my heart sometimes that it didn't work out. I didn't get to work with him. But
right. Do you think maybe agents got in the way?
No. It wasn't even like that. It was just, we just kind of parted ways, but I couldn't believe it took that long. At one point.
9 months?
No. I swear to you. At one point, he called his lawyer, and his lawyer called my father, who was a great manager. He discovered Leguizamo and Sandra Bullock and all these people. He was a great manager, Tom. And the question that Louis Blau had for my father was, Mr. Kubrick wants to know if Tom has read Nuclear Negotiations, a book called Nuclear. Kubrick was deep, dude. Everything was chess.
Jesus.
Everything was chess.
Nuclear Negotiations.
I swear to you. So anyway, I mean, I would have loved to have done that. And then it's funny, little epilogue. I run into Matthew Modine a couple of years later in New York City, and I'm still a kid, and he was kind of big league in me. He was funny. I go, how you doing, Modine? Oh, cool. And then I start walking alongside him in New York, and we're talking. I go, so how long did you guys wind up shooting that film? Tell me, Vision Quest. I want to know. And he goes, I swear to you, he goes, 54 weeks. 54 weeks. He shot for a year and 2 weeks. Man.
Wow.
But he was just brilliant. And he had that capacity and that allowance within our industry. I mean, there are very few people who can shoot a film that long. I think not since Chaplin, because Chaplin was notorious that in that day of the Max Sennett days, he would shoot something, and if he ran out of ideas, he would just break camp,
Right.
And Chaplin would notify you when he had some ideas for stunts, But Stanley Kubrick, what can I say, man? I just bowed out. I love Stanley Kubrick.